Welcome to the news brought to you by Eswatini TV. I'm Sanapongwane alongside Stelo Gnene on sign language. Great to have you with us. Thanks so much for choosing to stay with us and making us your news channel of choice. We begin here. First, your top stories tonight. The President of the Republic of Mozambique, Daniel Chapo, has arrived in Eswatini to embark on a state visit at the invitation of His Majesty King Eswatini III. The United Nations Ocean Conference 2025 has been officially opened. And government has introduced a leadership code of conduct bill to enforce transparency, strengthen accountability to ensure that leaders lead with integrity. Good evening. The news in detail. We begin here. Our first story. The President of the Republic of Mozambique, that's Daniel Chapo, has arrived in the Kingdom of Eswatini to embark on a state visit at the invitation of His Majesty King Eswatini III. The President Chapo has landed at the King Eswatini III International Airport on Monday morning.
The President of the Republic of Mozambique, His Excellency Daniel Francisco Chapo, was received by the Acting Prime Minister, Senator Thulile Dladla, upon his arrival at King Eswatini III International Airport. The Mozambican President is in the country at the invitation of His Majesty King Eswatini III. His visit is set to cement ties between the Kingdom of Eswatini and the Republic of Mozambique, which were established in the 1970s. Sworn into office in Maputo in January as the fifth President of Mozambique, President Chapo vowed to devote all his energies to defending, promoting and consolidating national unity and the well-being of the over 35 million people of Mozambique. The 48-year-old head of state first demonstrated remarkable leadership as the governor of Inhambane province between 2016 and 2024. The president recently held diplomatic talks with the president of Malawi, Lazarus Chakwera, as part of his outreach to leaders of neighboring states. As the president starts his visit in the kingdom, relations between the two countries, strengthened by collaborative efforts in various sectors, are set to take a giant leap forward. The president was scheduled to meet with Her Majesty the Ndlovukazi at Eswatini Royal Residence before holding talks with His Majesty King Eswatini III at Lozita Palace. This is a report by Sandile Makanya and Temba Mamba at King Eswatini III International Airport.
Now, the President of the Republic of Mozambique, His Excellency Daniel Chapo, has paid a courtesy visit to Her Majesty the Ndlovukazi at Eswatini Royal Residence. This follows the President's arrival in the country on Monday morning. Moving right along, the United Nations Ocean Conference 2025 has been officially opened. His Excellency, the Prime Minister Russell Miso Dlamini, and the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, Polile Shakantu, are part of that conference. The conference has been officially opened by the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres and the French President Emmanuel Macron in Nice, that is in France. Eswatini TV, Tembegosi Mafimbela has more on that story.
France President His Excellency Emmanuel Macron said the world is faced with many challenges, which include extreme heat, hurricanes, storms, and scientists are saying the ocean is heating up. Macron said if immediate action is not taken to save the ocean, the world will be in danger of sinking. Macron also said people should not forget that the ocean holds a quarter of global pollution. He further said saving the ocean calls for global partnerships. United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres said human activities such as overfishing and plastic pollution are harmful to the ocean. Guterres said doing this poses a huge threat as the ocean provides over 50% of oxygen in the world, while over 80% of goods traded worldwide are moved through the ocean. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen emphasized the importance of taking immediate action to save the future. Leyen said Europe is advocating for more countries to ratify the High Sea Treaty. The treaty speaks to technology, research, and laws that govern the use of oceans. Leyen said their target is to have over 60 countries ratify this treaty, and to encourage countries to do this, the European Union will invest 40 million euros in the Global Ocean Program. For Eswatini TV News, Temgosi Mavimbela, Nice, France.
The government of the Kingdom of Eswatini has introduced a leadership code of conduct bill to enforce transparency, strengthen accountability to ensure that leaders lead with integrity. The bill was introduced by the Honourable Minister of Justice, Prince Simelane.
The Minister of Justice, in conjunction with the Commission on Human Rights, officially introduced the Leadership Code of Conduct Bill before the Ministry's House of Assembly Portfolio Committee. Presenting the bill, the Honourable Minister of Justice, Prince Simelane, said this bill is designed to strengthen accountability and further enforce higher standards of integrity among public officials.
Bati phathe kahle angende umfu mathanda ungathi ukakhe.
The Honourable Minister says this bill will focus on issues such as assets declaration, conflict of interest, and responsible leadership. He says this bill is about restoring public trust and that leaders must not only serve but do so transparently and ethically. Deputy Commissioner of the Commission on Human Rights, Chief Dambuza Kede, says the country needs a legal framework that does not only outline expected behavior for leaders, but also ensures outcome for misconduct.
Tonke tinto tanjiswa ngemthetho siubukisise siuve ukuthi usitshela kuthini usibhekisaphi ngoba live vele lidzinge kakhulu ekwekutheni lidziyeliswe.
Whereas Chairperson of the Ministry of Justice House of Assembly Portfolio Committee, Michael Masilela, says it is more than just a legal reform, but it's a crucial step towards building investor confidence and restoring public trust.
Kuba nemithetho letawugovernisha kuti phatha kwethu thina sibaphathi city department. Ngilokhu tawusita ama investors ukuthi eteveni ngoba ayati ukuthi ngete senta nje lesikufunako.
The Honourable Committee also called for public involvement when drafting local policies. Reporting Samgalsiwe Khoza and Tambashabangu, Ezulweni.
Now, the newly appointed Senator Prince Kekela has been officially sworn in. The Senator took the oath of office in Parliament chambers on Monday. Eswatini TV Samuel Khoza has more on that story.
Following the appointment of Prince Kekela to Senate by His Majesty King Mswati III, the newly appointed Senator Prince Kekela has officially been sworn in Parliament chambers, making a new chapter in Senate Kekela's public career. Senator Kekela took the oath of office, pledging to uphold the Constitution and serve with integrity, transparency, and dedication to the people. Whereas Senate President Senator Lindiwe Dlamini and Deputy Senate President Senator Ndumiso Mdluli welcomed the senator to the House.
siva nathi siyavuseleleka siphatha livalo kabusha.
Siyethemba ukuthi udane lwakhe olukhulu kakhulu olutawusimisa lendlu likhona ukuthi indlu ichubekele phambili indlu imbonga. Alawo magama manje President siyabongela siyathi langosi lawusebenza kahle.
According to the Senate President, the Senate will now review the current structure of the Senate portfolio committees to accommodate the newly sworn-in senator. Reporting Samgalsiwe Khoza and Themba Shabangu, Parliament.
On weather news, the good news, the snow that is experienced in some parts of South Africa will not affect Eswatini. Weather forecaster Buhle Smelani says Eswatini, however, will continue experiencing rainfall and heavy wind, and the temperatures will drop in the next few days.
Luckily for us as a country of Eswatini, we are safe from that, even though most of the systems that comes from the western part of Africa, they normally affect us. But in this case, in terms of snow, it won't affect us. But the temperatures will drop also in our country, whereby we expect the high felt in the country from tomorrow up to Saturday to drop below 20 degrees Celsius. Places like Mbabane, Pistric, and Hlangano tomorrow will drop to 16 degrees Celsius. And the Mittelfeld, that is Banzen and surroundings, will drop to 19 degrees Celsius. And the high feld will drop to 23 degrees Celsius. Those are maximum temperatures, and that system is expected to go on until Friday, like I've said. And on Wednesday, temperatures will drop to 16 as well, as much as Thursday. Also, they'll drop up to 16 degrees, and Friday will drop to 18 degrees Celsius, and Saturday will drop to 17 degrees Celsius. Those are the areas that are in the high felt of the country. Otherwise, even the minimum temperatures also are not left behind, because there'll be very, very low temperatures over most parts of the country, especially those ones that are in the high ground, like Mbabane, Pistric, and Hlangano. The minimum for tomorrow, which is Tuesday, it will go down to a minimum of 5 degrees Celsius.
And to these now, ex-miners who were working in the mines in South Africa have raised concerns that the process for them to get a share of the 5 billion emalangeni from the Thiamiso Trust is tedious.
The 5 billion Malawian compensation fund was set aside by South African mining companies in 2018 to compensate all former mine workers who contracted the lung disease known as silicosis. The Eswatini Migrant Mine Workers Association has been conducting screenings for the disease since the 26th of last month. On Monday morning, former mine workers gathered at the Mbabane municipality for testing to determine whether they have the disease. This is what they had to say when speaking to Eswatini TV. The ex-miners say life is difficult as they have not received any money. They complain that government is not taking care of them. The ex-miners say they work for their money and therefore deserve to be paid. Eswatini Migrant Mine Workers Association Programs Officer Thulan Ngamphalala explains further about the screening program for the former mine workers. Ngamphalala says not all mines contributed to the fund. He adds that those found to have silicosis after screening are being paid. Those diagnosed with first-degree silicosis receive 100,000 emalangeni, second-degree cases receive 250,000 emalangeni, and third-degree cases receive 500,000 emalangeni. He further mentions that payouts are determined by the severity of the illness. To date, under the Thiamiso Trust Fund, 1,121 Eswatini nationals former mine workers have been paid a total of 97 million emalangeni. A total of 5,303 former mine workers in the country have registered to benefit from the fund. Reporting Fortune Dlangamandla, Mbabane.
Now, with the debt-to-GDP ratio projected to climb to 46%, fears are growing that the Kingdom of Eswatini may be on the brink to unsustainable borrowing. But the chairperson of the Ministry of Finance Portfolio Committee, Mawik Khumalo, is confident. He says Eswatini is in a strong position with 15 of the debts set to be paid off in just a few years.
I can safely say, as things stands right now, we have the capacity to pay the loan as a country. But again, we ought to be mindful of the fact that we cannot be borrowing an end, But in terms of international standards, I'll give you an example. In 2024, 2025, we're sitting at 42%. Our debt stock was sitting at 42% plus, Now, 2025, 2026, currently, we're hovering around 46%, you see. So I want to believe that, that is still manageable. Eswatini is known for not defaulting. The country has never defaulted in any of its loans. As I'm talking to you right now, between the year 2025 and 2030, within the next 5 years, we would have paid our international debt stock, which amounts to 15 in total.
The chairperson has also highlighted that they want to be more involved from the beginning when the loans are initiated by the Minister of Finance.
We come at the tail end of the process. When the loan is raised and there are negotiations and there are agreements, we don't feature. We only feature once the agreement to say, look, we can now borrow the loan. Then we have to give the approval that you can go ahead and sign and borrow the loan. So I think that's where things stand right now, because we believe that, every loan that is taken, first and foremost, it has to prioritize the interests of the nation.
The 4 billion Emalangeni loan bills will push the debt to gross domestic product ratio to 46%. The International Monetary Fund says a prudent limit for developed countries is around 60% and 40% for developing and emerging economies. The World Bank, however, states that Eswatini's debt risks are mitigated by debt structure. The outlook, according to the World Bank, is moderate. Reporting, Nelson Dlangamandla, Vumingo Sinzinisa and Derek Msibi, Ezulwini.
The youth of Eswatini says if government can put the decentralization program into full motion, this could play a major role in uplifting entrepreneurship. Jose Rego, who's the chairperson of the Eswatini Innovators Association and the Youth Chamber of Commerce Industries, said this shortly after the local government conference held by the Ministry of Tingundla Administration last week.
If the local government is not prioritized and empowers the citizen at the local community level, it becomes difficult for them to be empowered and to have basic services like public services, which are the first step to being able to innovate and build solutions like registering a company, applying for tax, and all these important things that as an innovator who goes into an enterprise, you must have in your toolkit before you go into the industry.
The Youth Chamber of Commerce Industries Eswatini says they need more services to be decentralized.
We, every youth, are here to be able to understand exactly the next sort of moves we're going. So I think this move will end up becoming very good for youth in business, because now it'll be much more easier for you to just get out of your sort of house and then just walk to a bank, rather than you being able to now get on 3 kumbis in order for you to just simply just go get a loan or get information about how to be able to sort of survive with business in your life.
In an effort to ensure businesses have easy access to government services, the Government in Your Hand app has been introduced together with the Eswatini Revenue Service Tax PAL. Reporting, Nelson Dlangamandla, Vumingo Sinzinisa, Matapa.
Right, let's segue into the world of business, where we take a look at financial indicators to give us a sense of how markets performed today in the Up Next financial report.
Standard Bank.
Welcome back in our sports news. The national team Slang Mozambique began their campaign in this year's COSAFA Cup with a stalemate, which is 1-1 draw against the national team of Madagascar. This year's tournament is being played in South Africa, the city of Bloemfontein.
There is hope in Eswatini that the national team will do well in this year's COSAFA Cup, as it has never lifted the trophy before. The national team Sihlangu Semnikati has not had the best start in this year's COSAFA Cup after drawing 1-1 with Madagascar in their opening match. In that game, Madagascar took the lead in the first half with a goal scored midway through the period. In the second half, Sihlangu came back and equalized through a goal by Junior Makakula. This draw means that Sihlangu must now win their final Group C match against Tanzania by at least 2 goals. This is because Madagascar won their opening match against Tanzania by a single goal in the first game, which puts pressure on Sihlangu to get a big win. This year's COSAFA is being played in South Africa in the city of Bloemfontein. Reporting, Linda Dlamini, pictures sourced from COSAFA.
Right, that's how we hit the home stretch of the news at 10 here at Eswatini TV. Before we go, a quick reminder of news-making headlines tonight. The President of the Republic of Mozambique, Daniel Chapo, has arrived in Eswatini to embark on a state visit at the invitation of His Majesty King Mswati III. The United Nations Ocean Conference 2025 has been officially opened. And government has introduced a leadership code of conduct bill to introduce transparency, strengthen accountability to ensure that leaders lead with integrity. Right, and that's how we hit the conclusion of the news at 10 here at Eswatini TV. It's been a pleasure. Thanks so much for choosing to stay with us. Up next, we cross over to the Weather Center for a detailed weather report from us and the team at Eswatini TV. For now, it is good night and God bless.
When you choose your adventures, you do so with an open heart and a desire for the unexpected. You embark on journeys to discover new worlds, full of wonder. You choose a path to awaken your senses, to feel the rush of life overwhelm you, a world to make you look up and realize just how inspiring this life can be. You ask,